This very large dung beetle is adapted to feed upon the ubiquitous dung of various large herbivorous dinosaurs. A single dung pile can attract up to 40 of these big beetles, and they are occasionally preyed upon by birds and small dinosaurs. Females make a dung ball almost as large as a football, in which to lay their eggs. Dragon skin monitors were striking monitor lizards that recently colonized the island but had evolved into a new species. Having likely arrived on rafts of vegetation or driftwood from somewhere in Southeast Asia, they developed brilliant red scales that were even more vivid in the breeding season. The precise function of the markings is not clear, though it may have been to startle predators. Both sexes were brightly colored. Dragon skin monitors fed on eggs and small creatures they found along the rocky shore and on the cliffs they nimbly climbed. Bizarre theropods, the racy Ars artis is the principal hunter of the mountain bifurcatops herds. In a reversal of evolutionary trends, Ars artis has returned to a four-legged gait, like with many non-dinosaurian dinosauromorphs, for greater stability as it hurls itself along the treacherous terrain of the crumbling uplands in pursuit of prey. A solitary killer, it will use cover to get as close to prey as possible before initiating a chase, and then run it down with superior speed and maneuverability. Kills are made cat-like, pinning the prey animal down with its foreclaws while delivering a lethal bite. Hebiosaurus is slow-moving and myopic, but surprisingly difficult for carvers to quickly kill. A thick neck and reinforced throat pipe make delivering a fatal bite harder than for most similar-sized prey. Generally, the large herbivores are brought down by pairs of carvers acting together to subdue and maim. Hebiosaurus intend to die messily and slowly at the hands of a predator. The Lycosaurus is an intelligent, dog-sized predator that hunts in the grasses. Mating for life, pairs dig burrows in the volcanic soil and line them with dry vegetation for their pups. They take a wide range of prey, feeding on anything smaller than themselves, and often follow larger carnivores like V. rexes in the hopes of scavenging morsels from their kills, or using the cover of one of their attacks to grab undefended young dinosaurs. The Bidensaurus is a dog-sized nocturnal predator closely related to the Lycosaurus of the lowlands and the impressive fan-backed Gladiodon. These carnivores are solitary, except in the breeding season, when mated pairs might stay together for several months. A Bidensaurus uses an acute sense of smell to sniff out small or sleeping large prey in the dead of night. Stalking the shoreline of Skull Island is a brutish quadrupedal heavyweight with a taste for flesh. Nefundosaurus is not a dinosaur but an ancient archosaur. Its huge olfactory canal affords the animal an acute sense of smell. The majority of its diet is decaying fish or other tied-stranded carrion, which the Nefundosaurus is led to by ribbons of rot wafting to its nostrils on the breeze. Nefundosaurus uses its size to also steal meals from smaller carnivores, including the coastal crocodilian Dirussicus, through intimidation and brute force. With powerful jaws, they are capable of wolfing down carcasses whole. Even robust shellfish and testudines can be cracked and swallowed, digested later in the predator's incredibly acidic stomach. The Diablosaurus is a strange, viviparous, medium-sized, short-necked, rhino-like titanosaur. Their size and indifference to attack, thanks to their armor, assures them of safety once fully grown. Only the young are vulnerable to predation by mid-sized to large predators. They have poor vision, primarily relying on smell to find food. Their mammal-like, mobile lips and flat, grinding teeth are adapted to shred and crush the tough ferns that cover the jungle floor. They also use their great strength to strip particular vine species that they favor, tearing the creepers free with mighty tugs of their great heads. Tartarusauruses are heavy and bulky in build. A huge coastal predator, Tartarusaurus is found all along the northern side of Skull Island. The seasonal nature of many of their coastal food sources, such as fur seals, mean Tartarusauruses are nomadic. This brings them into frequent conflict with one another when individuals meet over kills. Large fat reserves accumulate in their tails, allowing the species to go without feeding for long periods. Huge and hungry, with bone-cracking jaws and powerful limbs that can propel the carnivore faster than any man could run for short distances, this brute can make short work of unwary villagers. The thorny devil-like Calcaresaurus is a small, thorny reptile with a near impregnable hide. Despite its small size, few bigger predators bother the plucky little tank out of respect for its battery of spurs, which cover almost every surface of its body. A secreted irritant along the edges of Calcaresaurus spurs help to drive home its message of inedibility to the curious or stupid. An enormous, viviparous apatosauran diplodocid from Skull Island, Brontosaurus is one of the biggest plant-eating sauropods of Skull Island. Huge and bulky beasts, they are probably not very intelligent. Most Brontosaurus live in herds alongside other plant-eating dinosaurs or sometimes by themselves to confuse any predators that attack them. If they can't hide or run from predators, they use their natural weapons such as their tails, because with one devastating blow of the tail, the attacker will fall and get wounded or worse. These behemoths were some of the last living sauropods to roam the earth. Mottled markings camouflage the Lygocristus when in the dappled light of the forest or the deeper jungle. In the open their patterning helps break up their outlines. Being more sure-footed and agile than the great lumbering sauropods, Lygocristus are able to move with greater ease through the many different vegetation zones on the island, granting them access to a wide range of food sources. Lygocristus are highly vocal animals. The valleys echo constantly with their trumpet-like vocalizations as they call to one another to maintain herd cohesiveness while moving through the dense and obscuring jungle, and to reassure one another of safety when feeding in the open. The Pugiodorsus is a common, armor-plated basal ornithischian with long spikes on its shoulders from the jungles of Skull Island. Moving in small herds, Pugiodorsus rotate guard duties, with one or two keeping watch while the rest graze low plants. Alertness is their greatest defense, necessitating great stealth on the part of carvers even at night. Their bladed shoulder spikes, backward facing to protect them from pursuing predators, forces carvers to take care when making killing bites. The biggest terrestrial predator on Skull Island is the Vastatosaurus rex. Like their prehistoric fellow tyrannosaurs, Skull Island giant theropod have little competition for their spot as top predators. In spite of their size, they can turn on a surprising burst of speed for short periods. They have developed many unique features over the 66 million years since the Mesozoic era, but they still bear several recognizable similarities to their Cretaceous ancestors. Vastatosaurus have large heads, filled with long teeth that are constantly being regrown to replace those lost in conflict. Their heads are intensely reinforced with heavy bone. As the primary weapon of the Tyrannosaurine, an individual V. rex's head is often distinctive, being covered in scars and calluses. Abnormal bone growths form from old battles with prey, other predators, rivals, or even mates. Narrow, short ribcages and a large gap between the ribs and hips allow them surprising flexibility for animals of their size, a necessary adaptation to the broken terrain of Skull Island. The largest of Skull Island's flightless avian carnivores, Brutornis is an impressive predator that runs down prey in the open scrublands. With keen sight, the Phorusricid can detect small movements in the grasses that betray small prey hidden below. The huge, adze-like bill is driven by powerful muscles and exerts a bite terrible enough to kill most prey with a single chomp. The common and widespread Hyliornis are ground-nesting birds, making their nests in the deep shadows between the roots of giant trees. Flightless, their agility and speed through the jungle is their greatest defense against predators, though they can deliver a kick that wise predators know to be wary of when cornered. The carrion storks, Prophenornis, are a genus of flightless, carnivorous storks from the lowland plains of Skull Island. They are possibly closely related to the Leptoptylos genus. For distinct and remarkable carrion stork species have evolved with featherless heads for digging deep into carcasses, and specialized beaks suited to specific tasks. The pinatono is a flightless bird with a small head to reach inside thorny bushes for hidden berries and other fruit. Though outwardly defenseless, a pinatono has one ace up its feathered sleeve. Making up about a quarter of its diet is a rather noxious berry that most other species leave alone for its extremely hot flesh. Immune to its gut-scaring qualities, a pinatono bulk loads the fruit. In the acidic stomach of the bird it acquires newfound potency, giving off a foul gas that rises heavily from the feces, breath and pores. Skull crawlers are large reptilian creatures with only 2 long forelimbs and no hind limbs, as well as long, prehensile, serpentine tails. They have long and slender, yet muscular, sturdy bodies. Several aspects of their appearance are noticeably skeletal, particularly their torsos and their heads. What appear to be the eye sockets of their skull-like heads are merely empty fenestrae. Their real eyes are set much further back, with the fenestrae perhaps serving to distract enemies from their more vulnerable eyes and as heat-seeking sensory pits. As the apex predators of Skull Island, skull crawlers are fearsome and deadly in battle, using their jaws full of razor-sharp teeth as their primary weapons. Skull crawlers possess accelerated metabolism, which causes them to live in constant starvation. Skur buffaloes greatly resemble abnormally large water buffaloes but with several differences. They possess incredibly large horns that have forked into at least 3 branches. The Skur buffaloes also have algae covering much of their bodies, probably due to their habit of being submerged underwater. Their backs are shaped like coral, and this physical feature allows them to camouflage with their surroundings. The roars of Skur buffaloes are mainly loud bellows, much like many large real-world herbivores. Skur buffaloes are relatively passive herbivores that like to stay close to water, but they can be very aggressive if threatened or provoked. Phoegecrista was a primitive, flightless bird with a featherless head, a long, bright crest, and a saw-toothed bill. The serrated beak was beneficial in catching small prey and could also be used to shear off soft meat from carrion. Pteropusmerdax is a huge bat-like flying rodent and possibly one of the largest flying mammals of all time. It is the largest member of the Velociraptoridae, the family of winged rodents peculiar to Skull Island, and the convergent replacements to both bats and pterosaurs. A highly agile flyer, they are able to easily keep up with much smaller birds and flying rats. They dwell in huge upland caverns, roosting there by the hundreds in colonies ruled by the elder females. The males live in small colonies of a dozen or so and fight constantly among themselves, with injuries and death to infection common.